Planetary Resources is a new company backed by Google executives Larry Page and Eric Schmidt, along with legendary filmmaker James Cameron. The Seattle-based space startup has plans to mine asteroids for metals, rare minerals, and even water. Ed Beshore is deputy principal investigator for NASA. He's involved in a similar project, sending a robot to explore asteroids in 2016, and he joins me now from Tucson, Arizona. Ed, welcome to Bloomberg West. I love this story. Who doesn't love a story about mining asteroids? But is it really possible, or is this idea way ahead of its time?
Well, I'm not really a person who can say for sure whether now is the time. It certainly is early. NASA is actually planning to visit an asteroid. Will launch in 2016 and arrive in 2019, returning to the Earth in 2023 with a small sample from a very interesting asteroid. And certainly we're studying the problem very carefully about how to best go about doing that. And it's a very difficult task. There's no doubt about it. This will be a challenge. Nevertheless, I think we're all really excited about the prospect of trying to find a business model that would allow us to exploit the resources that we find in space. And asteroids have always been something that were a potentially great resource.
And talking about the business model, it costs $1 billion just to get there and bring back a sample. That's certainly not sustainable.
I would think not. However, there's a lot of pioneering that has to go on, and that's, of course, something that NASA has always been very good at doing. I would think that after the trail's been blazed a bit, like all other business ventures, the cost of doing this sort of thing should come down.
What are you expecting to find that's of any value?
Well, certainly from the standpoint of NASA's interest in a resource mission or a mission like this to an asteroid, we're interested in a lot of science questions. One of the principal goals of our program, called OSIRIS-REx, will be to return a sample from a primitive asteroid. We think asteroids, certain asteroids, the asteroid we're going to visit, is actually composed of materials that are very representative of those that you would find at the very beginning of the solar system. That could give us some important hints as to the source of water on the Earth and also the source of organics that may have led to life. So that's one of the key interests of our mission. We're also very interested in doing the resource identification to try to study this asteroid using sophisticated scientific instruments that will allow us to actually make some assessment of what we'll find there in the way of metals and other things that might be of value. And then finally, this asteroid that we're going to visit is a near-Earth asteroid, and it has actually one of the highest potentials of all asteroids that we know about right now to impact the Earth late in the 22nd century. So we're going to be studying this asteroid very carefully for the possibility of how we might mitigate something that's this asteroid if it's on a collision course, and also to try to study the forces that cause these asteroids to become dangerous in the first place.
Exactly. The possibilities here seem to be endless beyond the mining itself. How could this open roads to other parts of the solar system where you're using asteroids basically as stepping stones?
Well, that's right. First of all, we can kind of cut our teeth on going to asteroids because they require a relatively small amount of energy to get to. Because these asteroids come close to us, it's easy to get closer to them. But the other thing that's also important, and I think that the Planetary Resources news release and announcement today indicated, was that if we find water there in ways that can be extracted from the rock, we won't find liquid water most likely, but we'll find water attached to the minerals in the rock. That water could be used as rocket fuel for further investigations. We could use them effectively as interplanetary gas stations that would allow us to get to the outer planets a little bit more easily.